Welcome to this episode of the Hooked Pod.
I'm Chunk.
I'm the Chippy, and this week we're going to talk about Easter and the good times down on the coast in Western Australia. One of the biggest things at Easter time down here in Albany and surrounds, all the way up to Perth actually some years, is the salmon run. I think you've caught a few, Chunk, over the years, and I've caught a few.
Yeah, I think everyone who loves having a fish has caught a few of these. They're good fun and you don't need a lot of skill to catch them. And I think the best part about them is for those who aren't as fortunate to get out on a boat, you know, in their life, it's a good chance to catch a...
Yep, beach fishing is fantastic for salmon. And the salmon run every year means the salmon are around in massive schools. They come up and down the coast, mainly here on the south coast especially, and it's incredible to see a lot of the drone footage of the size of the schools of salmon out there.
Yeah, it is. You know, the Lewin Current brings them down every year. So it brings them and all the herring down. The herring, they chase their bait down and that's their main source of food. And, yeah, like you say, they come all the way from Perth right round to Esperance in WA. So they cover a vast...
We do see them a lot down here on the south coast, even all year round, around Bremer and Esperance and that. And then they come up and around Albany and then move on. It's pretty incredible fishing when you think of sport fishing. You know, they're not the best fish to eat. People have different ways of eating them, smoking them, and everyone, you know, who likes eating them has got their own special way. But I've only ever smoked them and not many of them. But for sport fishing, they're probably one of the most exciting fish off a beach or off a rock if you're that game. I can't think of a better sport fish than, you know, standing on a nice beach with your feet in the water and you don't have to cast out far.
No. And
you get something that's like 5 kilos on the end of your rod.
Yeah, it's good fun.
And they fight.
Yeah.
And also it's an incredible sight. They actually follow each other to your lure, all trying to jump on at the same time.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like that before.
See them in the waves with the dolphins and all that sort of stuff. And
I remember we were, before I came down here, I think it was back like in 2015 or something like that, and we were at Rouse Head up in Perth at Fremantle, and it was just an amazing run that year. And they went all right into the river, into the Swan River, and we were standing at Rouse Head and we'd been down there 2 or 3 nights. Well, actually, it was afternoon, probably 2 o'clock, and I took my daughters down there because I thought, well, I'm going to hand the rod over and see what my teenage daughters can do.
Yeah.
Because they all wanted to catch one. They could see them. They saw everyone catching them. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen the girls, you know, 12, 14, 16 or something like that, and they had a rod in their hand and, you know, there's a 5 kilo fish on the end of it.
Yeah, that would have been awesome for them.
And we're on the rocks. You're trying to, you know, get them up onto the rocks and everyone's screaming but there were so many people there and there's so many salmon. It was like, I've never seen anything like it before, but so much fun. And, you know, all you need is a lure. Some people were cutting bits off Coke cans, anything that shined and you put in the water, you could catch a salmon as long as it had a hook on it. And
yeah,
it's one of the best stories, I think, that, you know, I could ever tell because it was so funny and they just had the best experience and they talk about it all the time. You know, all it was Australian salmon happened to get to Perth, happened to get up, you know, right up near the Swan River, and so much enjoyment for so many people.
Yeah. And that's what it's about. It's just about going out and having a bit of fun and adventure, and you don't know what's going to happen.
Absolutely. And we had another really good adventure, if you remember, at the rocks at Pallinup, the Beaufort Inlet.
Yeah. We went out there. When was that? That was 2020, around then.
Yeah, I don't think we were supposed to travel then during COVID, but we did.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Can't remember.
All I remember is we were on a beach.
I mean, we were standing on that rock.
Yeah, we were on this rock and...
It was like a school of salmon were at our feet, like 5 foot away, wasn't it?
Yeah. There was yourself, your son Brad and myself, and there was... I don't know how many. We would have caught 50 salmon in half an hour.
Yeah, we had to stop fishing because our arms weren't working and we didn't even want to eat them because I think we had a sambo or something that you'd speared.
Yeah.
We didn't have any esky room, no fridge, no nothing. So
yeah, that wasn't a smart decision.
No, we let them go and let them swim.
Well, yeah.
because you can't do much with them when they're, when there's that many of them around.
Oh, yeah.
But that was good fun. I mean, you can't beat
Oh,
it.
yeah, we're having double, triple hookups. And
Yeah.
it was, just so much fun, And
I remember when we were up in Perth, we were at Woodman's Point boat ramp and we launched the boat. We were going out for a fish and we were not going for salmon, but we never got past the Woodman Point ramp in Coburn Sound. We got out, I don't know, probably 300, 400 metres, and we were sitting on top of a school. We were there for I think probably 30 minutes. We caught that many salmon because they were underneath the boat. We said, no, we can't do this any longer. So we kept moving.
Yeah.
But that's what they're like. They're prolific when they're in those massive schools.
Yeah. Dad always tells a story of down in Hopetown, down in WA there, out at Hammersley Beach, up the left-hand corner there, and he said he'd been out there with Mum and Pop way back in the day, and all they had was hand lines, and they're standing in knee-deep water and just casting hand lines out, just with a bit of a muley on the end, floating it down, and that's it. And they were catching salmon and they were swimming beneath their legs. And
Yeah, when you're in the water like that, it's incredible how many of them follow one up.
Yeah,
you have them everywhere.
Dad reckons that was just an unforgettable day.
The Hammersley's a good spot anywhere down there.
Yeah.
2 mile, you got 5 mile and 13 mile and 12 mile, all the way to Masons and out to Starvo. You can get fish all along there. We've been pretty successful over the years going there.
Yeah, anywhere along the south coast is pretty good, to be honest.
Right, Chunk, what do you need to catch them?
What do we need to catch them?
Beach rod.
Beach rod, yep.
The beach rods, you don't have to worry about rods these days being as big as they were in the old days.
Nah, 10-foot rods, probably all you need for the amateur, Doesn't have to be anything special.
You've got to be able to pull in about 4 or 5 kilos, though.
Yeah.
Needs to be reasonable.
Yeah. Bit of braid, 30, 40-pound line on it.
And what are you putting on the end of it to catch them with?
The old Halco Twisty, mate.
Halco Twisty.
About 60 grams. Can't go wrong.
Yep. And there's also lots of different lures these days, stick baits.
Yeah, you can use the soft plastics with the jig heads. And
just about anything will catch a salmon, won't it?
Yeah, if you're out of a boat, a hard body with a diver on it.
I think the only lure that I've trusted and I've always got in my tackle box is the metals. I like a nice shiny metal, doesn't have to have much colour on it, but once you hit salmon and you throw that out there and the sun's shining on it.
The old Halco
with
Twisty.
a treble on the end,
you
can't really go wrong.
No, that's your number one go-to.
And for bait people?
For bait people?
Muleys?
Muleys, yep. The old paternoster setup.
Yep.
Or a live herring's a good one. If you've got a live herring, or if you don't have a live herring, just chuck that on a set of gang hooks.
Bait caster muley on a treble.
Yep.
That's back in the day when I was a bit younger.
Yeah.
Catch salmon, catch tailor.
Set it out there, let it soak and wait for the fun.
Hopefully the seagulls don't get it.
Yeah, it's a bit more relaxing with the bait, to be honest.
You reckon?
You got time to sit down, you don't have to wind your reel flat out all the time.
Oh, yep. Well, if the salmon are there, you don't need to worry when you throw a lure out there. But if there's not much around, let it sink, and you could catch a flathead or tailor, or you could catch, like you say, a herring.
Who knows what you could catch that time of the year, to be honest.
What else do we need to go if we're going fishing? Probably need somewhere to go.
Yeah.
What are the great places, best places,
locations?
Your favourite places down here to go salmon fishing?
So if you're coming down to Albany or the Great Southern over your Easter break, there's Chains Beach, which is a nice, easy beach to get onto. It's about half an hour out of town.
And it's a big beach.
It's a big beach. It's great for kids and families. And the Chains Beach Caravan Park, they've got a pretty good setup. You can get a burger out there all day as well.
Yep, you got Bluff Creek out that way as well.
Yep. Then you've got Nannarup Beach, which is
bit closer to town.
And Muttonbird Beach.
Yeah, and they're all beaches that you can still drive on, and just got to take a bit of care.
Shelley's Beach is another beach, which is a good one. You don't need a full drive to get to that one. You can go out there, but it's in a national park, so you got to pay your park pass for that one. But that's a good one, and it's quite a nice scenic drive to get out to that too. So that's a nice one. Again, that's a nice one for the family and kids.
Bornholm, if you want an adventure.
Yeah, if you want an adventure, Bornholm down here in Albany is
It's halfway between Albany and
Denmark.
Denmark, yeah.
Yep. That's kind of regarded one of the hardest exits to get off a beach in WA. You're a four-wheel driver.
Bit of experience if you're going down there and a good four-wheel drive.
Don't go out there if you're just a hack.
If you're a novice. Have you ever caught a salmon down there, Jez?
No, I've never caught a salmon off Bornholm Beach.
Crikeys.
I've been down there a few times.
I've never been there, but I've heard some horrid stories about people going there and not being able to get out, or taking them half a day to get out.
I went down
Get out
there
at midnight.
Me and Sauce went down there one day with a couple of other mates, and we went down there. And I think Haley was with me too. And there was this car, had the whole back of his dual cab ute loaded up with sand, like he was taking beach sand home.
I thought you were going to say salmon.
for his
Sand.
It looked like he'd taken it home for his kid's sandpit or something, you know.
Wow.
And we're sitting in our car. He's trying to have like
that would have been super heavy, I reckon.
continual attempts, and we're just like, why have you got a ute load of sand when you could go to any other beach in Albany?
Had to go to Bornholm.
The hardest beach in potentially WA to get off of, you know.
Yep, a lot of people think it's the hardest beach to get out of in the whole of Australia.
Yeah, I mean, to put it in perspective, there's a farmer who has a sign, because you go past his farm on the way in, and it says, you need a recovery to get off, this is my number, it'll cost you $1,000. And he goes down there in his old tractor and probably makes $100,000 a year and pulling people off a beach.
I did hear a horrid story not long ago. I think it was some backpackers who ended up down there with some other people, with some locals, and it's exactly what happened to them.
Yeah.
Only go to that beach if you're very experienced. There's lots of places down here. Two People's Bay is another one, which is National Park. We've got the famous, infamous Salmon Holes. There's great beach, fantastic beach to fish off. There are some rocks there that cause some issues, but if you're going to go fish off any rocks anywhere, you must have the right equipment, and that means life jackets and other things. Well, even down there at Salmon Holes, they anchor themselves to the rocks, don't they?
Yeah, just pay the rocks some respect, you know. There's too many bloody stories where people go missing. The ocean's a powerful beast when it wants to be.
Yep, there's not that many reasons to actually go fishing on the rocks down here. There's plenty of beaches, so stick to the beaches, stay safe, and you'll get yourself a fish. Yeah. And if you're going fishing down here this time of the year, there are plenty of species. There's just not salmon. We still have plenty of King George around. Squid, you can get squid anytime. You can get them in Princess Royal Harbour, up against the rocks over there.
Yeah.
And just out in the Sound. The weather's pretty good at the moment.
It is.
A bit of wind around, but we will certainly be getting some better weather Easter onwards.
I love this time of year, you know. It's the best time of year down here, you know. It's beautiful. The temperature drops down a bit. You get those cold, crisp mornings where there's no wind, and the afternoons are dead calm, and you get the great sunsets that we get here, and it's not too hot in the middle of the day, so you can spend the whole day outdoors and enjoy the whole day. And it's just, I mean, the secret's out about the Great Southern now. It used to be so quiet down here 10 years ago, but it is a beautiful spot. Yep,
and if you're going to do boat fishing, King George Sound, you'll get plenty of salmon out there when the schools come in. You know, and like I said, Two People's Bay is a great place to put your boat in down there, and also around at Chains, you can put your boat in there on the beach. And there's plenty of fish around. People want to chase them. Just got to go looking. Make sure you got all your weather apps up to date, and get out there, be safe. And the best thing about fishing down here is that there's so many different species to catch, and there's plenty of places to go. What are you doing for Easter, Chunk?
What am I doing for Easter? I'll be working in the shops down at Hooked on Middleton Beach here. And
going to get a fish in?
Possibly not. I'm going to go fishing.
Possibly not. Of course you're going to get.
I'm going to go fishing in a couple of days' time.
Yeah, we had a chance the other day. We went out and caught a couple of bream.
Yeah, we caught a couple of bream the other day. I thought you meant over Easter.
Yeah. Well, we're going to go fishing at Chains, and hopefully we'll get a couple of opportunities to go and throw a line in.
Yeah, take the young fella fishing. That'll be good fun.
That's right.
And the
just
bride.
A bit of four-wheel driving up the beach.
Yeah. Do you have any memory about a great Easter dinner?
Yeah, one of the best Easter dinners that I've had was many years ago when we got a prawning net. I think we got it for Christmas, myself and my older brothers, and we went out in the Swan River, and I think it was one night, there was about 15 of us, family and friends. We all had turns with the net out in the river. It was out along the freeway in Como there, and we caught 26 crabs that night, blue swimmers, and we got a 20-litre bucket of prawns, river prawns, which were quite large. So we had one of the best Easter meals you could ever have. It was just delightful, and we just cooked it all, spread it out on a massive table, put paper down, vinegar, and I think Mum made up some beautiful seafood sauce, and that's probably the best Easter meal I've ever had.
That sounds all
right. What about you, Chunk?
A little bit similar. We're up in Mandurah on a bit of staying with Auntie and Uncle up there, and I went out crabbing for the first time with me little cousin, and we caught a heap of crabs, and then we cooked them up, and big feast, and that was good. And then I stayed up till about, 10, 12 o'clock, just eating crabs. It was the first time I'd eaten blue crabs, and I thought it was just great. So I just gorged myself with crabs, and I don't think I moved the next day. So, but it was good. It's good fun.
They're a bit fiddly, but what you get out of them, yeah, it's probably one of the sweetest seafood you can eat.
I thought it was heaven.
Yeah. I mean, ocean crabs are just sensational. And, we've been eating them quite a bit even this year, and they've just, I don't mind spending an hour just picking through them because the meat is so sweet.
Yeah.
If anyone's coming down to the South Coast for Easter, our business is open all weekend and the school holidays, Hooked on Middleton Beach, and also Scoop Gelato, which is in York Street, and also down here at Hooked on Middleton Beach. And we're going to have lots of fish. We'll be open every day, including Good Friday, which we call Fish Friday. And also we will have oysters.
Do you know what fish we're having, or not so much? I know it's hard to say.
Mackerel, King George whiting, hopefully. We'll have cobbler. We will also have maybe some northern species like gold band snapper, and we will have the best gelato in Albany, of course. That's just after you've had a bit of salt and vinegar on your chips, mate. You need to wash it all down with a great gelato.
Yeah.
And also some Easter special gelatos. What are they this year?
We got like a vanilla base with some Smarties mixed through it. And then we have like a caramel egg sort of deal, which is like vanilla, chopped up plain dairy Easter eggs, and then with a big caramel swirl through it.
Easter special gelato.
Yeah.
Other great food to have at Easter time. WA is renowned for crays, prawns, or what people call lobster, and our own Exmouth prawns. We've got plenty of fantastic seafood, so make sure you get to the shops early if you're not catching it yourself, and I'm sure there'll be plenty around. I remember one year down here, we had crayfish, we had cooked prawns, we got all ready for fantastic Easter, and we had, I think, 13 degrees and hailstorms. And that was a bit of an introduction to the South Coast for us, a couple of years after arriving. It didn't put us off, though, because most of the other Easters have been pretty good weather.
Yeah.
But we had like a foot of, well, we thought it was snow at the back door, and it was actually hail the morning. But by the time lunchtime had come around, the sun was shining, there was people everywhere, and we were still cooking crays and prawns because we didn't think we were going to sell any.
Yeah.
But we were fortunate enough that the weather did get better, and the whole weekend ended up being pretty good. But that was a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever had weather like that at Easter time up in Perth. So we didn't really know what to expect. There's some other great places to go to down here, not just all fishing. You can visit the great wineries, the Barrel Farm.
Yeah.
We've got the Prongerups, the Stirling Ranges. There's lots to do down here if you're coming down here for the Easter holidays. And it's not that far from the Big Smoke, only 4 hours.
Yeah.
If you're down here and you like fishing, throw a line in, you'll get a fish. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening this week from Chunk and the Chippy. Please listen to the next episode, which will be out soon. And be safe if you're driving or fishing, and have some fun. Happy Easter.